ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Michael Myers fanatic. I'm here with Todd Farmer. You are the writer. Are you the writer or director of Jason X? I admit I'm flawed here. I don't remember which one you are. What is your credit, sir?
I worked craft services, so I made sure that everyone was fed.
Okay,
No, I'm kidding. I'm the writer.
okay.
But I did
And
give people gum if they had bad breath.
who was the director? Was it Jim Isaacs? Is that his name?
That is correct.
Okay. My first question for you is what happened to Rowan? You know, the character from Jason X. I have to know what happened to her. What is she doing now? I meant in real life. What is she doing at this point?
I don't know. I think she's married, a couple of kids. I haven't spoken to her in years. I keep up with Jonathan, who played the professor. He and I chat every now and then. I think,
Because she wasn't even in the documentaries. Because I was like, well, where the hell's Rowan? You know, I don't know her real name, so I call her Rowan. I said, where is she? You know what I mean? But if you don't know, then there's no hope for me because I definitely don't know.
I think I think I may follow her on Twitter. But I don't. I haven't kept up with her career or her life. I want to say I heard that she had married and had a couple of kids. I don't know if she's still in the business or not.
And my second question is it possible at all to have a direct sequel? Is that possible at all?
Uh, uh, I would say no, but I mean, because Jason X was a massive box office failure. But then again, so was Big Trouble in Little China, and they're rebooting it. So I don't think those are in the same. I don't think those are the same. Big Trouble in Little China was sort of an original movie, so Jason X is the 10th in a long installment. I doubt it very seriously, but I mean anything is possible.
Well, how did it get leaked? In I believe it was leaked in 2000. How did that happen?
I don't know. I mean, they still get leaked every day. I mean, the thing is, it was we shot it on film, but it was the first movie that was um, basically taken from film to full digital, so we could do all of the special effects and stuff we were doing because that was sort of new at the time. And I guess taking a movie from film to digital, it's much easier to find copies of it, on computers. And I believe that's what happened. But yeah, it was big at the time. I forget maybe it was Pirate Bay. I forget who it was, but I don't think it was Pirate Bay. It was somebody else. But it was a huge, huge download at the time.
Yeah, I've heard. And do you think that might have contributed to the failure of Jason X, or
I
what
think
would
it
you say?
probably, I mean, it may have contributed, but I think at the end of the day, I think just people didn't want to see Jason in space for the most part. And I think on another level, I think I mean, this is the second time I've written a movie where I put a big surprise in the movie, and then the studio ended up using the big surprise on the poster. And had I known that was going to happen, I would have written it differently.
Yeah.
But over halfway through the movie, Jason becomes Uber Jason, and that was supposed to be a surprise. So I kind of think that if people had gone to see it, I still think it would have had a dismal opening, but I think it would have been interesting because people would have left saying, something really weird happens. You need to see this, or at least I would hope that's what would happen.
Yeah, and I
'Cause
want. Excuse
Go
me.
ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I want to let you know, and I'm not saying this just because you're here. I don't really have a problem with the movie. I have a problem with certain aspects of the movie. You know what I mean?
For instance,
Well, I mean, like Jason looks human, because when you look at him, you can see a guy with. I'm trying to put this in a way that's not offensive. He looks like this white guy. No offense, but I was like, how is it that I can see his skin? You know, it looks like human skin. He just looked regular. So was that something that was done purposefully or
I mean,
what?
I like to think so because we introduced the idea that Jason has an ability to regenerate,
Okay. Well,
which is
I meant no disrespect. It's just curiosity.
you're not disrespecting me. I it bought me an Audi. I feel pretty good about the whole process.
Okay. And my next question for you, sir, is Jason X canon to Jason Goes to Hell?
I I don't know. It's hard to say. I would say yes, and I used to know the answer to that.
Because I
I,
saw fire, when it came on. I saw fire, so I was like, well, where is this? Can you at least tell us where it is?
the fire?
Like where is it set? When we're seeing this fire and stuff, where is that supposed to be?
Oh, I'm pretty certain that the intention is that it's hell.
Okay.
But then the opening of this movie takes place. There's a void between Jason going to hell, if that's what happened, and this movie. And I'm not sure how long a void that is, because obviously Jason, in that period of time, Jason was captured. Jason escaped from hell and was captured. But the thing is, we couldn't tell that story because we didn't know what Freddy versus Jason was going to do.
Yeah.
Freddy versus Jason was already in development, and although we weren't really involved, we didn't know what they were doing. Were they going to show Jason escaping from hell? We didn't know, so we just set it into the future. I forget how long it was supposed to be, and then set the whole film hundreds of years into the future.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, it was certainly a throwback to Jason being in hell. And I know we talked about at one point that at no point in Jason. Oh, I know what it was. The body hopping supposedly takes place in Jason Goes to Hell because Jason is, blown up. Spoiler. And when we had that happen, when we reached a point where Jason was sort of destroyed to the point that he couldn't come back, technology took over, so he never had to body hop. Plus, there was nobody near for him to body hop. So I don't think we ever spent a whole lot of time on it, but at the same time, we wanted to make sure that those rules couldn't be broken.
So, my next question for you would be, will you pursue any other horror franchises?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the process right now. Patrick and I are, we're developing a TV show based on, a horror franchise. And then we've got a couple of original things that we're playing around with. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll always be a horror writer to some degree.
I imagine you can't say what it is that you're pursuing at this point.
No, because we're right in the middle of. We just finished the outline for it and sent it over to the powers that be.
Okay.
And
I understand that.
But I've always been pretty vocal about this stuff. So if they come back and say no, or if they come back and say yes, I will eventually. Can you still hear me, by the way?
Yes, I can.
Because my computer just went to sleep. So I'm waking it up with a series of very intricate passwords. All right, there we go. What were you saying?
I was just saying that I understand that you can't, give us any information at this point. I understand that perfectly. And by the way, I know this is completely random, but my cousin wanted me to let you know that she loved the scene where Jason stabbed Brodsky through the door. She said, "You gotta tell him that I love the scene. You gotta tell him."
Well, I loved it too,
So
and I loved writing it.
She loved that scene. I mean, so did I. I was a little upset. I was like, he kills the guy. I thought he was dead. I thought Brodsky was dead. And Brodsky says, well, it's going to take more than one poke in the ribs to put down this old dog. And then Jason stabs him again. He says, yeah, that ought to do it. I loved it.
Yeah, it's a good line. And there was never any intention for him to die.
Really?
Yeah, he was from the moment that the character was created, I knew he was the one that was going to come back in the end.
Can I ask why, or
I don't know. I always thought that it was that he was a fun character. That he was a character who had been given this crappy detail, taking care of a bunch of high school twerps. Yeah. But that he was, in his day, he was the top soldier out there, and so I don't know. I just like the idea that go head to head with him.
Yeah, and I have to also ask, is is Jason alive at the end of this? Was he alive at the end of the film or not?
I mean, I think, yeah. I mean, I think it depends on. Look, it has nothing. It actually has nothing to do with story. It will always have to do with box office. If there is a desire for Jason to come back, he'll come back. There was certainly the plan for the second movie to take place on Earth 2.
Oh wow.
And for the surviving characters and characters from Earth 2 to sort of combine forces and figure out how to get rid of him. And the plan was because they figured out they can't kill him, because he basically burns up in the atmosphere, but there's apparently enough DNA or enough evil left over that he can come back, and he will come back. And I don't know how it would have happened, but it would have. And so then he would have been on Earth 2 and then have to deal with him. So if they can't kill him, the only way to deal with him is, because they have the technology, is to send him back in time. And so the third movie would take place in the 1980s when Uber Jason shows back up at Crystal Lake, probably while Jason is wearing the burlap sack. That was my plan.
Well, actually, I think you should come back. I really do. Can you at least, as a horror fan, can you do me that favor and at least consider coming back?
Oh, I consider it. It's not up to me. I mean,
Well,
I wanted to do it way back then. I mean, right now, what will happen next is whatever rendition of Jason that they're working on now.
okay, this really sucks. I'd rather see you come back and do something with, with your version of Jason.
Well,
That's
no,
that's
but
what I want to see.
but that will never happen. It's just like um, the writer from the original Big Trouble in Little China wasn't asked to come back because that movie was a failure.
Okay, so
Instead, they got the guys who wrote Freddy vs. Jason to come back and do it.
well, can you do a different Jason then?
I mean, I suppose I could reach out to the powers that be, but Jason's it's a weird, it's a strange franchise politically, because there are a bunch of people who are involved in it who have to have approval over it. I mean, there's Paramount, and there's New Line, and there's the Cunninghams, and there's Platinum Dunes. I mean, I think they all at this point have contractual obligations to it.
Yeah. Well, what does the cast of Jason X think of it now?
I really wouldn't know, to be honest with you. I've never talked to them about it.
And I have to say this, I'm really getting sick and tired of these horror movie actors, whatever you want to call them, making these films, and then as soon as they get a little bit of fame, they just stick their nose up in the air and like, oh, Jason X, I don't remember that travesty,
I don't
like,
think you think they do it as bad now as they used to.
I don't know, man. It's like, okay, I'll give you an example. I was trying to talk to Bianca Kylik, from Resurrection, and it's like she wouldn't talk to me unless I mentioned her in a tweet, So, I don't know. I guess she just doesn't want to think of it that way, and I'm guessing the girl that played KM14, I think she's on Twitter. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure she doesn't want to talk about Jason X either. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I sort of lost contact with all those guys.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. I thought you guys, I thought you stayed in touch.
No, I mean, it's just, I mean, sometimes that happens. Like on Drive Angry, a lot of the people I stayed in touch with, a lot of the crew and a lot of the cast. But remember, I was only there for a couple of days on set, so I only met all the actors for a couple of days.
And so when did you guys start filming? How did Jason X come to be? Do you remember?
It was 1999 when we started talking about it, I think. Could have been 98. Sean was frustrated with Freddy vs. Jason because it had been in development forever. And he suggested we just go do a standalone Jason movie. And so we came up with a bunch of different ideas. Jimmy had one idea.